Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI?
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
With all my experience in working at both PV and OMG, I knew that James always had the final say on what stories would be released. And looking back, I realized that every story that PV and OMG released were all low-baller stories. Low-hanging fruit, if you will. Jordan Walker was just a director-level employee working at Pfizer. He wasn't the CEO. He wasn't an executive like James would claim. Do you know who was an executive? Nick Warren. David Casamento was just some school superintendent. His stature pales in comparison to the stuff we were revealing in the microscope expose. While PV buried the story on Nick Warren gaming the FDA, they highlighted Jordan Walker and mutating viruses that don't exist. A big fat cow of a story that James continues to milk today.
We go to this restaurant, and again, very quick story, and then I'll make a major announcement. We go to this restaurant in Brooklyn, New York, in the Dumbo section of Brooklyn, and I walk in to say hello to this guy. Hey there. Is this seat taken? What? Hi. You work for Pfizer. My question for you is, why does Pfizer want to hide from the public the fact that they're mutating the COVID viruses?
Is this real life? This is absurd.
Why does Pfizer want to hide from the public that they're mutating the COVID virus?
Oh my God.
You're on video. You're on video.
Pfizer ultimately is thinking about
mutating the COVID virus.
Here?
As far as I could tell, this was the role that James O'Keefe was playing. It was all theater. He was filtering out the gold while peddling lumps of coal. The reality is that the undercover information I obtained in December of 2021, while the boosters and mandates were in full swing, would have blown the whole vaccine agenda wide open. The bombshell material I got was utterly diffused by the celebrated and lauded king of investigative journalism himself. What is my experience with James O'Keefe? He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I became absolutely convinced that James O'Keefe was part of some sort of version of Operation Mockingbird.
And welcome to our video on Operation Mockingbird, the top-secret CIA program that ran from the 1950s to the 1970s. The goal of the program was to infiltrate and influence media outlets in order to shape public opinion and spread propaganda. The CIA used a variety of tactics to achieve this goal, including bribing journalists and editors, creating fake news stories, and even establishing entire media organizations as fronts for the agency. One of the most well-known examples of Operation Mockingbird was the CIA's involvement in the creation of the New York Times Foreign News Service. In the 1950s, the CIA recruited foreign journalists and used them to spread propaganda and disseminate information that was favorable to the agency. The CIA also had ties to various other media outlets, including CBS, NBC, and Time magazine. These media organizations were used as a platform for the CIA to spread propaganda and manipulate public opinion. In many cases, the CIA even had direct control over the content that was published in these outlets. It's important to remember the history of Operation Mockingbird and to be aware of the ways in which the media can be used to shape public opinion and spread propaganda.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Despite its end, the legacy of Operation Mockingbird lives on, and many people believe that the CIA and other government agencies still have a significant influence on the media and use propaganda and disinformation to shape public opinion.
If Operation Mockingbird is still in effect, and if there are journalists working within our media today that are there to distract and deceive us, then James O'Keefe fits the mold beautifully.
In 1977, Carl Bernstein wrote an article in Rolling Stone. It was titled "The CIA and the Media." Bernstein claimed that the CIA secretly bankrolled foreign press services. They were both in English and foreign languages. They provided excellent cover for CIA operatives. These reports led to a series of congressional investigations. They were conducted in the 1970s under the Church Committee.
You know, Carl Bernstein wrote an article about Mockingbird around 1975 or 76 in Rolling Stone. And at that point, I think there were some 400 editors, journalists, from all the largest publications. The New York Times had been compromised. The high-level people at those journals were working for the agency or had signed secrecy agreements with those agencies, with the CIA, and at CBS, ABC, NBC, high-level journalists. So today, today that's going on. After 75, when it all came out, during the Church Committee hearings, the CIA promised that it would no longer compromise American journalists. It continued the program to compromise journalists all over the world, and today the CIA is the biggest funder of journalism in the world.
On April 20th, 2022, at Dartmouth College, James O'Keefe gave a presentation entitled, "What is Truth?" During the Q&A, James was directly asked if he thought that there was some version of Operation Mockingbird still going on today.
My question was, do you believe there's some version of Operation Mockingbird still going on today with regards to the Russian-Ukrainian war? And there's been some, RT's been taken down from YouTube. And do you have any opinion on that?
No. See, this is what I don't do. Unlike the guy at I don't opine on things I know nothing about. I like to keep it to the facts. It's pretty straightforward. And that's why I made that article the basis of my presentation, because it is the problem we have in society.
James claimed to know nothing about Operation Mockingbird and refused to even speak one word about 9/11.